Hello, welcome to the Learn English Lab.
Hi there.
Today we're taking a deep dive into something, well, really fundamental to the human experience. The intertwined story of success and failure.
Yeah, how we navigate both achieving our goals and experiencing setbacks.
Exactly. These aren't just simple endpoints, are they? Like, reaching a destination or not. They actually shape who we become.
For sure, as individuals and even, you could argue, our societies.
Right. And the path towards, let's say, accomplishment, it's rarely smooth sailing. It's often full of challenges, setbacks, alongside those brilliant moments.
And failure, which often gets such a bad rap, can actually be a really potent teacher.
A teacher? How so?
Well, it builds resilience, it fosters growth in ways that maybe constant success doesn't.
That's a really insightful way to put it. It's so important to see them not as opposites, but as connected somehow.
Deeply connected, and understanding that relationship can really change how you view both, I think.
Definitely. So in our discussion today, we'll be looking at some real-world examples, things like personal achievements, entrepreneurial journeys.
Scientific progress, even big societal shifts.
Yeah. And the aim is really to pull out some useful insights, maybe offer a bit of inspiration.
And encourage you, the listener, to see both the wins and the losses as vital parts of your own story.
Okay, so where do we start? Maybe defining success. It seems simple, but...
It's surprisingly slippery, isn't it? We use the word all the time, but what does it actually mean?
Well, it's deeply personal, for one. And it changes based on context, right?
Totally. For some people, it's clearly about wealth, status, climbing the corporate ladder, that kind of thing.
That's the classic image, I suppose. But then you have others. For them, success might be about meaningful relationships.
Or personal growth, developing themselves, or making a contribution to society, leaving a mark.
But I guess the common thread, maybe, is achieving a goal you set out to achieve and feeling fulfilled by it.
That feeling of fulfillment, yes, that seems key. And it's interesting how culture plays into this too.
How so?
Well, think about many Western cultures. There's often a big emphasis on individual achievement, material success.
Right, the sort of self-made narrative. It's definitely celebrated.
But then you look east, perhaps, and some philosophies might prioritize, say, collective harmony or spiritual development.
Like Bhutan's Gross National Happiness Index.
Exactly. That's a perfect example. They focus on well-being over just economic metrics. It's a fundamentally different way of looking at what success means for a nation.
That's fascinating. It really highlights how our values shape what we aim for. And even for one person, the definition shifts over time, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. A young professional might see getting that promotion as the ultimate success.
Yeah, that's everything at that stage.
But fast forward a few decades, that same person nearing retirement, their definition might be totally different.
More about legacy, maybe?
Yeah.
Impact, family.
Could be any of those. It evolves as we do. Okay, so that's success. What about failure? How do we define that?
I guess at its core, it's not meeting a desired outcome, an expectation.
Pretty much. When things just don't go the way you planned or hoped. And look, it often feels bad, but it's universal. Everyone experiences it.
Right. And actually, you could argue it's essential for learning, for adapting.
Yes. It's often framed as the opposite of success, but maybe it's more like a stepping stone towards it.
I like that. But society often attaches such a stigma to it, doesn't it? Makes you feel ashamed.
That stigma is real, and it can definitely hold people back. Discourage risk-taking.
Because who wants to be seen as a failure?
Exactly. But then you look at places like, say, Silicon Valley's startup culture. Failure there is almost expected, or at least accepted as part of the process.
Right, like a badge of honor sometimes. Fail fast, learn faster.
And that acceptance, that environment where it's okay to stumble, that tends to foster more innovation, doesn't it?
It makes sense. If you're not terrified of failing, you're more likely to try something bold. It reminds me of that Edison quote.
Ah, the light bulb inventor.
Yeah, something like, I haven't failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work.
That's the one. It perfectly captures reframing failure. It's not an endpoint, it's feedback, it's data.
Information telling you what not to do next time.
Exactly. Seeing those ways that won't work is just steps on the path.
Okay, so they're not separate things, success and failure. They're intertwined. They interact.
In a really dynamic way. It's not like you achieve success and you're done, or you fail and it's over.
Every success carries the potential for future failure, maybe through complacency or just changing times.
Right. And every failure, no matter how tough, holds the seeds of future success. Lessons learned, resilience built.
You see that duality everywhere, don't you? In people's lives, in companies' histories. It's rarely just a straight line up or down.
It's almost always this back and forth, this interplay.
Yeah.
And maybe looking at some specific stories can really bring this connection to life.
Good idea. Real examples often make these abstract ideas much clearer. Where should we start?
Well, let's consider someone very prominent in tech and space. Someone known for massive ambition.
Okay, I think I know who you might mean. Big goals, big risks.
That's the one. Think about their space company. A huge success was in 2008, launching the first privately funded liquid-fueled rocket into orbit.
A massive milestone. And then later, sending NASA astronauts to the ISS in 2020, really changing the game in space travel.
Absolutely revolutionary. And then there's the electric vehicle side, too, making EVs mainstream, becoming incredibly valuable.
Huge successes, no doubt. But it wasn't all smooth, was it? Weren't there major failures early on with the rocket?
Oh, definitely. Between 2006 and 2008, 3 launch failures in a row. The company was apparently on the brink of collapse.
Wow, 3 failures. That must have been intense.
Almost wiped them out. It took his own personal investment, pretty much everything he had, to fund that 4th attempt, which thankfully worked.
Talk about pressure. And then with the cars, wasn't there that period they called production hell?
Yes, with the Model 3, around 2017, 2018, huge problems scaling up manufacturing. He was famously sleeping on the factory floor, trying to sort it out.
So incredible highs, but also moments where it nearly all fell apart. What were the main challenges, do you think?
Well, obviously, immense financial strain. These are capital-hungry businesses. Then there's the constant public scrutiny, every move dissected, and just the sheer difficulty of the engineering problems they were tackling. Pushing boundaries constantly requires iteration, trial, and error.
So what lessons can we pull from that story? It feels like there are quite a few.
I think so. First, a willingness to take calculated risks, big ones.
Calculated being the key word, perhaps, based on learning from the failures.
Yes, that's the second point. Learning from each failure was crucial, especially with the rockets. Each failed launch provided data to improve the next one.
Okay.
And finally, just sheer resilience, perseverance, the ability to keep going when things looked incredibly bleak.
It really shows how breakthroughs can emerge directly from failure, doesn't it? Transforming whole industries through that vision and, well, stubbornness maybe.
Stubbornness, persistence, yeah. Okay, let's switch gears. How about someone from a totally different field? Literature.
Oh, okay. Like an author.
Exactly. Think of an author whose book series became a global phenomenon, impacting culture significantly.
Ah, The Boy Wizard. I think I know what you mean. Massive success story.
Colossal.
Right.
Hundreds of millions of copies sold, movies, theme parks, huge cultural impact, promoting courage, friendship.
But the backstory there is pretty remarkable too, isn't it? It wasn't an overnight success.
Not at all. Famously rejected by, 12 publishers?
12. Before Bloomsbury finally said yes. That's incredible persistence.
And this was while facing really significant personal hardship in the early 90s.
Right. Living on benefits, single parent, dealing with depression, writing in cafes.
Yeah. So imagine the self-doubt from the rejections, plus the financial worries, the pressure.
It's a lot to overcome.
But she kept going. That belief in her story, her vision, it highlights the power of persistence, the importance of authentic storytelling that connects with people.
And maybe having some support system, however small.
Crucial. It's a powerful example for anyone pursuing a creative dream, showing that perseverance against the odds can lead to extraordinary outcomes.
Okay, so those are stories where failure was overcome. What about when apparent success isn't what it seems? When it implodes?
Ah, the cautionary tale. Yes, let's look at a case from the health tech world. Theranos and Elizabeth Holmes.
Right, the blood testing company. Huge hype, massive valuation.
Absolutely. By 2014, valued at $9 billion. Holmes was hailed as the next Steve Jobs on magazine covers. The promise was revolutionary complex blood tests from a tiny drop.
Sounded amazing. Too good to be true, perhaps.
Well, that's how it turned out. Investigations started revealing the technology simply didn't work reliably. Results were inaccurate.
Which is incredibly dangerous in healthcare.
Hugely dangerous. It led to legal charges. Holmes was convicted of fraud. The company collapsed completely.
A spectacular fall from grace. What went wrong there, fundamentally?
Several things. Ambition outpaced reality. The tech just wasn't there, but they pushed ahead anyway.
Overpromising.
Massively. And serious ethical lapses, prioritizing image and valuation over scientific integrity and patient safety. There was also a real lack of transparency, a culture of secrecy that prevented proper scrutiny.
So the lessons are,
Integrity is non-negotiable. You can't build sustainable success on false claims. Validate your tech before scaling, and be wary of excessive hype, especially around charismatic leaders. Real success needs substance.
A very stark reminder. Okay, one more example. Maybe someone who faced huge systemic failure but achieved something transformative.
Nelson Mandela, an incredible story of resilience against overwhelming odds.
Absolutely. Facing the systemic failure of apartheid in South Africa.
And spending 27 years in prison for fighting against it, that's a profound setback by any measure.
Yet he emerges and leads the transition to democracy, becomes a global symbol of reconciliation.
Instrumental in dismantling apartheid, negotiating with former opponents, winning the Nobel Peace Prize in '93 alongside F.W. de Klerk. A monumental success for South Africa and the world.
An icon of forgiveness. But even that journey had its own complexities, its own struggles or perceived failures along the way.
Well, the 27 years in prison itself could be seen as a failure of the movement to achieve faster change. There were huge personal sacrifices, strains on his family.
Sure.
And within the anti-apartheid movement, there were tactical disagreements, criticisms, and then the immense challenge of unifying a deeply divided nation post-apartheid. That wasn't easy.
So what do we learn from Mandela's story, integrating both the struggle and the triumph?
The power of a clear, unwavering vision to sustain hope through the darkest times. The incredible potential of forgiveness to heal divisions, and the importance of pragmatic collaboration, even with adversaries, to achieve profound change.
It really exemplifies how failure and immense hardship can actually fuel transformative success, doesn't it? His legacy is just immense.
These stories really paint a picture of that complex relationship, and they highlight the challenges involved, both in chasing success and in dealing with failure.
Totally. Just trying to achieve something big.
Yeah.
You face fear of failure, maybe you don't have the resources, you risk burnout.
Like Ariana Huffington, whose burnout led her to create Thrive Global.
Right. Or external pressures, like Simone Biles faced, prioritizing mental health over Olympic medals.
Yeah.
And just sustaining success is hard too. Think Kodak missing the digital wave.
Exactly. And then on the failure side, there's the emotional toll. Steve Jobs said being fired from Apple was devastating.
Yeah, I bet.
Financial fallout, like the dot-com bust, damage to your reputation, look at Elizabeth Holmes again, and just the challenge of actually learning from it. Plus that societal stigma we mentioned.
It's tricky terrain to navigate. So, pulling all this together, any practical tips for actually achieving success, drawing from these examples?
Well, setting clear, measurable goals seems key, like Airbnb initially focusing on booking just 300 homes. Break it down.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What else?
Cultivating a growth mindset, believing you can improve. Carol Dweck's work on that is fascinating.
Yeah, seeing challenges as opportunities.
Building strong networks for support and advice. Think Oprah and Maya Angelou. Adapting to change. Look at Netflix pivoting from DVDs to streaming.
Crucial these days.
Prioritizing well-being to avoid burnout. And celebrating small wins along the way to stay motivated.
Good advice. Okay, flip side. Tips for learning from failure when it inevitably happens.
First, reflection. Really analyze what went wrong. NASA apparently does failure autopsies.
Interesting.
Seeking perspective from others, taking calculated risks, maybe smaller ones, to learn without betting the farm. Google's 20% time encourages that.
Right, experimentation.
Reframing it as feedback, James Dyson's thousands of vacuum prototypes. Building resilience, maybe through self-compassion, as Kristen Neff researches. And being willing to iterate, to pivot, like Rovio did before hitting Angry Birds.
So it's really about seeing it as part of the process, not the end of the road.
Exactly. It's this continuous cycle. Success, potential failure, learning, trying again. Staying humble in success helps you prepare for bumps.
And using failure to spark that humility and drive learning. Maybe even sharing your story helps others too.
Definitely. Recognizing that iterative loop is vital. Humility and success, learning from failure, they feed each other.
And it's not just personal, is it? This dynamic impacts organizations, society.
Absolutely. Organizations that embrace learning from failure often innovate more, think 3M and Post-it notes. It shapes company culture, drives adaptability like IBM shifting to services.
And societally, failure in early vaccine trials leads to eventual success. Setbacks in civil rights fuel progress. Individuals overcoming adversity inspire millions, like Malala Yousafzai.
On a global level, too, environmental failures spur sustainability efforts. Past pandemic responses inform future preparedness. Leaders' legacies are shaped by how they navigated both triumphs and trials.
It all comes back to crafting our own story then. How can we as listeners think about this for ourselves?
We'll start by defining your own metrics for success. What really matters to you? Not just society's definition.
Good point.
Maybe map out your journey so far, the highs, the lows. What did you learn from each? How did they shape you?
A personal reflection exercise.
Yeah. And start small. Build momentum. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Seek feedback. And really celebrate your own resilience, your ability to keep going.
That's powerful. Because the stories we've looked at today, they show this truth, don't they? Success and failure aren't opposites. They're just integral parts of a continuous journey.
They really are. The challenges, the setbacks, the triumphs, they all weave together into the unique narrative of our lives.
We hope this deep dive has maybe offered you some new ways to think about both success and failure, to see the lessons hidden in both.
And remember that famous quote, often attributed to Churchill, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts."
Well said. Thank you for joining us here at Learn English Lab.
Been a great discussion.
If you found this exploration insightful, please do like this video, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more in-depth discussions like this one.
Thanks for listening. Hello, welcome to the Learn English Lab.
Hello.
Today we're taking a fascinating journey into the world of well-known sayings, 20 famous quotes that have really echoed through the corridors of time.
That sounds great. These aren't just catchy phrases, are they?
No, not at all. They're like concentrated nuggets of wisdom, each capable of sparking profound thought and capturing fundamental truths in just a few words.
Right. They carry real weight, historical, cultural. They reflect deep human experiences.
Exactly. And our aim today is to sort of delve into the origins, the backdrop, and the deeper significance behind these 20 impactful phrases.
So kind of unlocking a richer understanding of why they still matter so much.
Precisely. Think of it that way, getting into why they continue to resonate.
Okay, well, what's remarkable is how they often transcend their original time and place, isn't it? Offering insights for us right now.
Absolutely. Like little containers of wisdom passed down, each holding a piece of the human story.
So where do we start?
All right, let's begin with probably one of the most famous, to be or not to be, that is the question.
Ah, Shakespeare. Hamlet, right. Around 1600.
Yes, Act 3, Scene 1, part of Hamlet's big soliloquy. It's such a pivotal moment for him.
And at its core, it's grappling with these huge questions of existence, isn't it?
Totally. To be, meaning living, facing suffering, taking action.
Versus not to be, death, inaction, the unknown. It really digs into that human struggle with mortality, with purpose.
It makes you wonder, about those big decisions we face. Weighing the pain of carrying on against, well, the alternative.
And for Hamlet, the character, he's in deep turmoil.
Yeah, grieving his father, thinking about revenge, but he's just stuck, paralyzed by indecision.
So the quote comes from that specific drama, but it becomes this timeless reflection on choice and consequence, that internal battle.
Exactly. Facing suffering versus seeking an end to it, the sheer weight of that decision.
Okay, powerful start. What's next?
Next up, another instantly recognizable one. I have a dream.
Martin Luther King Jr., The March on Washington, August 63.
That's the one. What's so captivating about this quote is just the sheer power of the vision it paints.
Oh, absolutely. A world judged by character, not skin color. It's just such a potent symbol of hope, unity, the fight against racial injustice.
It really is an inspiring call for equality. It makes you think how much that dream still motivates people, right?
Definitely. And delivering it at the Lincoln Memorial.
Yeah, during such a crucial time for civil rights, that speech and that line especially, it just galvanized people.
And its universal appeal, I think, comes from that optimistic belief that change is possible, positive change.
Absolutely. And it keeps resonating because, well, the pursuit of genuine equality is still so vital everywhere.
Very true. Okay, moving on.
Moving on. We have these impactful words from a leader during a really tough economic time. His first inaugural address, March 4th, 1933.
FDR. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Exactly. In that climate, the Great Depression, he was urging Americans not to let paralyzing fear stop them from tackling the huge challenges they face.
Right. The idea that the fear itself, the apprehension, can be a bigger obstacle than the actual problem.
It's a strong message, encouraging resilience, collective action, highlighting how our mindset impacts everything.
You can just imagine the atmosphere then.
Yeah.
Banks failing, huge unemployment.
And these words were meant to instill hope, courage. And it's a feeling that really holds true in any crisis, doesn't it? That crippling effect of being afraid to act.
It speaks volumes about the psychology of overcoming adversity. Sometimes the first step is just managing your own anxiety.
Okay, our fourth quote takes a bit of a different turn. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity.
Einstein, or often attributed to him anyway. The exact source is a bit debated, I think.
Yeah, it seems that way. But regardless of the exact origin, it definitely reflects a certain problem-solving perspective, don't you think?
Absolutely. It offers that valuable viewpoint. Challenges aren't just roadblocks. They can actually be openings for growth, for innovation.
It encourages a mindset that sees obstacles as possibilities, like seeing a puzzle instead of just a problem.
And thinking about Einstein, his breakthroughs often came from tackling incredibly complex problems. So this idea must have resonated.
Right, and it's inspiring not just in science, but in any aspect of life, really. Perseverance.
Definitely. It's about reframing setbacks, looking for the positive angle, the new path forward.
Okay, next up, a line charged with raw emotion. Do not go gentle into that good night.
Dylan Thomas, the Welsh poet.
Yeah.
1947, written for his dying father, wasn't it?
That's right. And it's not about quiet acceptance, is it? It's this powerful urge to fight against death, to embrace life fiercely right to the end.
Yeah, a passionate plea to live with vigor, resist fading away. It really makes you think about the power of the will to live.
The poem uses such vivid, intense imagery exploring mortality. And this line, it connects with anyone facing loss or anyone just looking for that motivation to live fully.
It tacks into that fundamental human thing, doesn't it? Clinging to life, resisting the inevitable with everything you've got.
Okay, our sixth quote takes us back to a moment of national aspiration. Ask not what your country can do for you.
Ask what you can do for your country. JFK.
Yeah.
Inaugural address, January 61.
Yes. It's such a strong call for civic duty, for selflessness.
Right, encouraging people to prioritize contributing to the common good over just focusing on personal gain. It's about the collective.
And delivered during the Cold War, those words really hit home. They inspired a whole generation towards public service, Peace Corps, civil rights work.
What's really notable is that emphasis on active participation. The idea that a strong society depends on citizens contributing.
Okay, now for a quote that serves as a kind of timeless caution. All that glitters is not gold.
Shakespeare again.
Huh.
Merchant of Venice, right?
Yeah.
Around 1596.
That's it. And it's such a crucial reminder that appearances can be deceiving.
Yeah, just because something looks valuable or attractive doesn't mean it is. It warns against superficial judgments, emphasizes substance.
It encourages a deeper look, doesn't it?
Absolutely. In the play, it's tied to that scene where a suitor chooses the gold casket expecting a prize.
And finds it empty. It's a perfect illustration. And still so relevant. We're constantly bombarded with things that look appealing.
Exactly. It fosters discernment, critical thinking, look beyond the shine.
Our next quote emphasizes the power of individual action. Be the change that you wish to see in the world.
Often attributed to Mahatma Gandhi, paraphrased from his writings, maybe around 1913, about personal transformation.
That sounds right. And it encapsulates that idea beautifully. Change starts with you, with the individual.
If you want certain values in the world, you have to embody them yourself first. It puts a strong emphasis on personal responsibility.
Leading by example.
Precisely. And it's Gandhi's whole philosophy of nonviolent resistance, which was so central to India's independence.
It really embodies this principle, doesn't it? Not just advocating for change, but living it.
Yeah. It's a powerful motivator for activism, sure, but also just for personal reflection. How do my actions affect things?
Moving on, we have a quote that speaks to life's unpredictability. Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans.
John Lennon, from the song Beautiful Boy, 1980.
Yeah, such a poignant reflection on how life just unfolds, often unexpectedly, deviating from our careful plans.
It encourages being more present, embracing the spontaneity rather than fixating too much on the future, appreciating the unplanned bits.
And he wrote it for his son, reflecting that shift towards family, simplicity after all the fame. It's a gentle reminder, isn't it? Stay open to surprises.
Indeed. Planning is useful, of course, but you need to be adaptable and cherish those unscripted moments.
Our 10th quote takes us way back to ancient philosophy. The unexamined life is not worth living.
Socrates, from Plato's Apology, recounting his defense at his trial, 399 BCE.
Yes, and it underscores the absolute necessity of self-reflection for a meaningful life.
He argued that without questioning your beliefs, your values, your actions, life just lacks depth, understanding. It's a call for constant self-inquiry.
And facing death for challenging Athenian norms, he really lived by that principle. It still inspires philosophical thought, personal growth through self-awareness.
Definitely. It urges you not to just drift through life without asking why.
Okay, next, a quote about our interconnectedness. No man is an island.
John Donne. From his Devotions upon Emergent Occasions, Meditation, Dipier 7th, 1624.
Right, and it articulates that fundamental truth: humans are social creatures. We don't thrive alone.
It emphasizes community, connection, shared humanity, recognizing our dependence on each other.
And he wrote it while he was ill, reflecting on mortality and interdependence. It's still so relevant, especially in discussions about social responsibility.
Exactly. Our well-being is tied to the well-being of others around us.
Our 12th quote encourages seizing the present. Carpe diem quam minimum credula postero.
Horace, the Roman poet, Odes, around 23 BCE, often translated as, seize the day, put little trust in tomorrow.
Yes, it's really an encouragement to live fully in the moment, make the most of today because the future is uncertain.
It promotes boldness, mindfulness, embrace opportunities now. It's a call to action in the present.
Horace often celebrated life's pleasures, and this quote, especially after being popularized by that movie, Dead Poets Society.
Right, it became a huge motto for living with intention, appreciating the here and now.
A reminder not to postpone joy or action because tomorrow isn't guaranteed.
Very true.
Okay, next up, character formation. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit.
Paraphrase from Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics, 4th century BCE.
And it's so insightful, isn't it? Our character isn't defined by one-off actions, but by consistent patterns.
Right, so excellence isn't a single achievement. It's the result of ongoing habitual effort, the power of consistency.
Aristotle really emphasized developing virtue through practice. This quote motivates discipline, persistence in any area.
Precisely. It highlights how those small, consistent actions shape who we become and what we achieve.
Our 14th quote speaks to starting big things. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Lao Tzu, from the Tao Te Ching, 6th century BCE.
And it offers such encouragement when you're facing something huge, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It reminds us that even the most ambitious goals are reached through those first smaller actions. Overcoming inertia, taking that first step, however small.
Just starting.
Yeah. And Taoist philosophy values simplicity, gradual progress, so it fits perfectly. It's comforting when you feel overwhelmed.
Breaks down daunting tasks into manageable starting points.
Exactly.
15th quote, touching on resilience. That which does not kill us makes us stronger.
Friedrich Nietzsche, Twilight of the Idols, 1888.
A powerful statement about the transformative power of adversity.
Right. Nietzsche's philosophy often embraced struggle as necessary for self-improvement. This reflects that. Overcoming challenges can lead to greater strength, resilience.
Grow through hardship.
Yeah. He explored embracing struggle, and this quote became so popular for highlighting that we can learn and grow from difficulty. It really resonates when talking about perseverance.
Bouncing back from setbacks.
Indeed. The idea that you can emerge not just okay, but actually more robust.
Our 16th quote is a powerful cry for freedom. Give me liberty or give me death.
Patrick Henry. Famous speech to the Virginia Convention, 1775.
Such an impassioned declaration. The absolute importance of freedom, willingness to sacrifice everything for it.
It embodies that fierce independence, unwavering conviction, the ultimate value placed on liberty.
And delivered at such a critical moment leading up to the American Revolution, those words were instrumental in rallying people.
Still a potent, memorable expression of valuing liberty. It underscores that some principles are just worth defending at any cost.
Okay, 17th quote, a perspective on influencing the world. You must be the mirror of the world you want to see.
Paraphrase from the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Buddhist monk.
And it really emphasizes personal example, doesn't it?
Yes. If you want qualities like peace, compassion, kindness in the world, you need to embody them yourself first. It highlights personal integrity, mindfulness.
Embodying the change.
Exactly. Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings focus so much on peace and mindfulness. This aligns perfectly. It's a call to live authentically, reflect the values you hope to see.
Recognizing our own actions and attitudes have a ripple effect.
Indeed.
18th quote, highlighting creative thinking. Imagination is more important than knowledge.
Einstein again, from a 1929 interview.
And it underscores that crucial role of creativity in driving progress, innovation.
He suggests the ability to imagine, to envision possibilities, is even more valuable than just having facts. It emphasizes creative problem solving, thinking outside the box.
The power of envisioning.
Right. And considering his own breakthroughs, often involving thought experiments, imaginative leaps, it speaks to his approach.
It's encouraging, isn't it? Value innovation, unconventional thinking, not just rote learning.
Exactly. Envisioning what could be often comes before the breakthrough itself.
Okay, 19th quote, focusing on overcoming setbacks. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall.
Often attributed to Nelson Mandela, inspired by his life, his writings, maybe the poem Invictus too.
And it captures the essence of resilience so beautifully.
It really does. True success isn't avoiding failure, but the capacity to recover, keep going. It's about perseverance.
Strength to get back up.
Yeah. And Mandela's life, marked by such adversity, then incredible leadership, truly embodies it. It's an incredibly motivating message. Never give up.
Highlights that learning and growing from mistakes is what defines the journey.
Well said.
And finally, our 20th quote brings us back to Shakespeare. To thine own self be true.
Hamlet again, Act 1.
Yeah.
Spoken by Polonius.
Yes. And it emphasizes the paramount importance of authenticity.
Living according to your own values, your beliefs, essential for integrity, fulfillment, being genuine, inner alignment.
Interestingly, Polonius, the character giving the advice, isn't always seen as the most reliable.
No, there's definitely irony there in the play.
But the wisdom of the phrase itself has endured, a timeless reminder to stay true to our inner self.
Precisely. Aligning actions with core values for a more meaningful life.
So these 20 quotes, wow, spanning different eras, thinkers, they really do offer lasting insights, don't they, into being human, striving, reflecting, living purposefully.
They absolutely do. Concentrated wisdom that still speaks volumes.
Well, we hope this exploration, this deep dive, has given you a richer understanding of these famous words and maybe sparked some personal contemplation too.
Yeah, which of these quotes really resonates most with you and why? It's worth thinking about how these enduring ideas might connect to your own life, your aspirations.
Definitely. And if you found this deep dive into the wisdom of these quotes insightful, please do like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more engaging content.
Thanks for joining us.